It's time now to answer some of your business questions. Let's get Heather and Alicia back in here to help us out. The first one is about customer interaction.
In my business, I encourage people to come into my shop and play, engage their senses, really have a connection and a real-time fun experience. How then am I supposed to encourage online shopping when my store itself is the antithesis of just looking and shopping online?
It's a good question,
I love
right?
that one.
And I've been to her store before, and it's beautiful, and it is an amazing experience, which you cannot replicate online.
Right.
So what does she do?
Well, she shouldn't try to replicate it online, but what she can do is take the online viewer into the store, give reactions of people when they're touching the products. You know, rhetoric, what she's writing in her copy is really, really important. And then reviews, why this product, what tap their senses about it. She can tell the story online without being able to go in there. And don't forget that oftentimes people who see things in a store then go online and shop for it. So she's got to grab who she's got in the store, and then through promotions or online promotions, she can get them to shop online as well.
And I'm thinking, Alicia, if she thinks of it as one big thing, right?
Yes.
Not this is the store and this is online, but this
That's right.
is who we are.
That's right.
Yeah, I think that the online presence should really be an extension of her brand. And so if she's really priding herself on having this like wonderful in-store experience, then what are those creative aspects that she could then portray online? So it's not just having a website where it's like, here's the product and here's the price and click to buy. But, you know, how do you make pleasing visuals on the website? Are there rewards that you can do? Are there promotions? Are there fun ways to engage the audience? Like, are they giving information, uploading pictures? So really making that website an extension of the brand. And then it's a little more seamless and it makes more sense.
Yeah, video. You know what I mean? It's really, really great on websites, and she's the perfect candidate for it.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. A question about engaging with the all-important members of your staff.
What else could we be doing to ensure that we retain those individuals that essentially make a professional service corporation viable and successful?
It's a great question. I mean, particularly for people who are running small businesses, you're so busy that you just assume everyone's happy and they're doing a good job, and oftentimes it's not. Your employees are often your biggest customers.
Absolutely.
So for him, and for him, his employees are the front line too. So what can he do?
So retention is incredibly important, and I think there are a number of formal ways you can address it and also informal ways. So formally, you can think about how do you include your employees in equity programs where they're actually earning equity in the company and they feel like they're partly an owner in the business. It's much tougher to walk away when you feel like you're part of it. And then also maybe have that equity vest over time. So again, it's harder to leave when you're forfeiting unvested equity. You can also think about creative benefits. So how are you approaching the 401k plan? Is that generous? Are you providing snacks in the kitchen? Do you have a generous vacation policy? These are all things that you can do that really differentiate your company and help it set apart. And so it's really set it apart. So it's really harder to leave that company when you feel like a lot of those benefits are tailored and not easily replicable elsewhere. And then finally, just really addressing the cultural aspect. Listen to your employees, sit down with them every few months, and like maybe they care about having one day a week, you know, to work at home and flex time. If you're providing them with what they really care about, it's so much harder to leave.
I mean, culture is the biggest thing,
It's the biggest,
right?
exactly. And other than financial things, there's a lot you can do. Team building. You know, I love this idea of stay interviews versus exit interviews. So you go to the people that have been within your company for a long time and you say, what do you love here? What do you love about the culture? And then you grow those ideas. And you have to invest in your employees. You know, you really, really have to. Workshops, everyone loves a good pat on the back. So recognizing when people have done a really good job and creating a culture that's got, you know, a real entrepreneurial spirit, like you said. Maybe if they're not given a piece of the business, they still feel like they're a part of the business from start to finish, because it's all about the team, it's all about the rewards, it's all about the building, whether they're financial or they're not. But you'd really have to spend time with the nucleus of your organization, because when you're building it and when you have built it, your employees are the most important thing.
I love this idea of a stay interview. I'd never heard of that before. I called it that before. And the companies who I've interviewed that have the best culture, companies like Warby Parker, Parker. It is not haphazard. Those founders thought very hard about what is our culture, and they trained people. They hired people who fit the culture, and then they train it. So it is embedded in the whole company.
I do it at Yummie. We're 6 years old. I'm sure you know you're investing on your own. I don't know how big your team is, but it's really important to let your employees let you know what's cooking through outside agencies sometimes.
Right. Okay, great. Let's move to the last question that we should all be asking when we're looking for a mentor.
As I take my business to the next level, should I look for a business mentor in my own industry, or should I look for somebody who's outside of the industry?
What do you think?
Well, you know,
both.
I think both. I think a mentor is supposed to give you overall general guidance, not maybe so much specific guidance. And so what you need to do is look for smart people that you trust, that have done a really good job building businesses or doing those things themselves. If they're in your industry, that's a bonus, but to me that's a little bit more detailed. Do you know what I mean? So look for two.
Yeah.
I totally agree. I would echo Heather's sentiments in that I think that it's not mutually exclusive. You should have all. You know, if you know a lot of great smart people, someone within the industry can give you depth, and someone outside of the industry can give you breadth, and then maybe help you think about things in an out-of-the-box way that someone within the industry can't. So, like, the more smart people that advise you, the better.
Mentors come in all shapes and sizes.
You know, the question that this brings up for me, though, is, okay, you know who you want. How do you find one? Finding a mentor. It's not, you just can't go out. It's not like, you know, buying lunch. I want a mentor. It's hard to find someone who's invested in you.
That's right.
I think we were talking earlier. I think like women's groups and community workshops and things like that, where you're going and hearing other people speak, and then you're going up and saying, "Wow, I really loved what you had to say. Can we stay in touch?" And you start an email. You just have to be bold, and you got to take chances, and you got to go out there and put your hand out and say, "Boy, you really turned me on. I like to meet you and spend some time."
I totally agree.
You'll find I do that with people, and I'm sure you do that with people. So just go out and get them.
Right. All right. Well, you know, earlier this week I spoke at the American Business Women's Association, and in light of that, it is so fun to have two really strong businesswomen who have been so successful on the show this week.
Yeah, it was great to meet Heather, and thanks for having us.
Thanks so much, you guys.